Hello, everyone, and welcome to another backstage interview at the Metals Investor Forum. I am joined right now by Phil Williams of Consolidated Uranium. Thanks for taking the time, Phil.
Thank you, Gwen. Nice to see you again.
Yes, likewise. So let's look back a little bit and then forward at the Consolidated story. Looking back, I mean, you pulled this company together to consolidate uranium assets, right? Hence the name. And it was sort of one of those, call it an optionality play, like pick up pounds in the ground when they were cheap and just hold on to them. That business plan is actively evolving right now. So do you want to just take me through that evolution and the rationale for it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're entirely right. When we first started the company, we looked back at the previous bull market and saw that there were many companies that were very successful in consolidating projects around the world. And we thought that's the model we want to emulate. And particularly in that moment 2 years ago, uranium was so out of favor, and there were so many companies that had been created before that had since disappeared, but the projects were still there. They were sitting around and no one was doing anything with them. So we could go after those projects and pick them up on very compelling terms. Now, and the plan was, as you say, the plan was to consolidate them and basically sit on them and wait for the market to come to us. And when we saw the signals that investors would reward us for moving those projects ahead, and that the price environment would support those projects moving ahead, then we'd go and do work on the projects. And that's what we're really going to focus on this year.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, right? The business model has evolved because the uranium market evolved. Those price signals happened and the interest has started to come in. And you probably can't continue doing the same business model because you can't go out and pick up pounds in the ground for nothing anymore. There's too much interest in the space.
It's definitely become more competitive. And I mean, we're seeing a lot of M&A start to happen in the space. And I think that will continue. And on a relative basis, there's still going to be some interesting opportunities for us as a company. But you're entirely right. On an absolute basis, buying pounds as cheaply as we were able to at the beginning is just not the case today.
Okay, so now you're going to start advancing projects. So that leads me to sort of two questions. One of them is, what are some of the plans to advance projects? What are some of the places that you're going to focus? But before that, maybe one of the things that I think is most important about Consolidated is that you actually have the ability to do that because you have the people, which is hard to do, which is hard to find in the uranium space.
No, absolutely. And we're still building the team. So originally, we started the company, it was a shoestring team of people. Lots of us had experience in this space, particularly my VP corporate development in Australia, Pete Mullins. He'd been in the uranium space for a long time, since the early 2000s. He's a geologist with that technical background, has been around the world, knows all the projects. More recently, we brought on proper mining engineering experience. So it was just before the end of last year, we brought on Marty Tunney. He's our president, he's our COO. He's got experience building mines, permitting mines. And so we wanted to look forward and bring that skill set in. Marty's been tasked, of course, with overseeing all the project level work, but also building out the team. I think you'll see more people joining on the technical front. And then also importantly, one of the key people that's joined us, particularly on the board side, is Mark Chalmers, the CEO of Energy Fuels. As part of that transaction that we did, he really wanted to be involved with the company in a meaningful way. And so he joined the board, and he's going to be a big part of particularly what we do in the US. And I'm sure that's the next question, but those are the projects we're going to focus on.
Okay, so with all of this technical ability, this depth of expertise, what are the main areas of focus? Obviously, these assets that you got from Energy Fuels in the US, what is the broad sweeping plan there?
Right. So again, and so we're still refining exactly what it looks like, but I'll give you some of the overarching ways that we're looking at these projects. These are past producing mines. They all came with a tremendous amount of infrastructure in terms of workings developed. They're all conventional mines. Some have shafts, some have adits, and so the first thing we want to do really is actually understand the resources that are there and look at expansion potential. So I think it's going to be drill programs, particularly from the surface on the three main projects. So it's Tony M, Daneros, and the Rim Mine, all located in Utah. So it'll be surface drill programs there, and we're just planning those out, getting the permits in place for that, and working on bidding out the drill contracts. And then we'll look at going underground on one or two of them to see what the state of the workings are, and start to do some evaluation work around how much, how long, and what's it going to take to go put these mines back into production.
Gotcha. Okay. What about outside of Utah? What plans do you have for other assets in the portfolio, or do you have, or is Utah going to suck it all up?
No, I think we're going to do some work on other projects. One of the projects that we're particularly interested in right now is in Argentina, and it's our Laguna Solata project. It's about a 10 million pound uranium resource. It also has vanadium as well. One thing that attracted us to that project, and it was the kind of model project. It was a lot of money was spent on it by the past operator. They ran into a roadblock when the uranium price went south, and they weren't able to continue to finance it. But they never fully tested the exploration potential. And we've had some of our team go down there recently. They walked the ground. They see the near-term exploration potential around the existing resources, but even further afield, they found some very interesting targets. And the nature of that project, it's near surface. Yes, it's low grade, but it's very easy to get to. We think there's a tremendous opportunity to extend the footprint of that. And for actually not that much money, we can show the exploration upside on that project.
And that sort of brings it around. I was hosted a webinar this morning about uranium and the opportunity in uranium, and my task was to sort of explain how to invest in the space. And the place that I started from with that is that, you know, it's really been winnowed down. There's not a lot of operators out there. There's not a huge number of active exploration projects, even after this sort of year of excitement and the sector has, you know, got more money, and there's still not that many active projects out there. So this evolution of your business model to go out and demonstrate that not only do you have the pounds that you acquired for cheap, but that they can grow. I mean, that seems like it should fit in this market where that's going to be hungry for news.
Well, no, you're entirely right. And one project that's going to see a lot of work this year, which won't actually be in Consolidated anymore, is our Morin Lake project in Labrador. And if I could take a second or two to talk about that, because exactly what you're talking about is going to happen there. And the quick version is that we've created a new company, Labrador Uranium. We put our Morin Lake project in there. Altius and Mega Uranium have contributed projects as well. And that company's raised a significant amount of money, almost $10 million, to go drill and explore a very large property package in the central mineral belt of Labrador. And I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in that camp this summer, thanks to what those guys are doing.
Yeah, for sure. People, when interest turns in, right, there's not a lot of stocks to look at. So those who are making news are gonna get the attention, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, best of luck juggling all of the demands on your attention over the next year. It's a lot of projects, it's a lot of opportunities, but I bet you're excited for it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a tremendous year, and we're not done on the acquisition front either. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll catch up again soon.